welcome back to No Idea, the podcast where you have no idea what we're going to talk about, and we have no idea how it's going to go. I'm your host, I'm Jenny, and guess what? We're back again. This is episode 2 of season 2, that's right, double twos, and I'm here with one of my dear friends. Her name is Tiffany. Tiffany, say your name, age, and a fun fact. Go ahead.
Well, my name is Tiffany.
Get out. Okay. And how old are you, and what's a fun fact?
I am 26. And
thriving. 26, yes. Flirty and thriving.
Sure. And I've always wanted to go to space.
Why have you always wanted to go to space? As you're wearing a space t-shirt as we talk right now, okay?
Why not?
Well, your favorite movie is Meet the Robinsons, and it's definitely like a futuristic type thing, so I bet
that is true.
In the future, in that movie, space has pretty much all been discovered. That's what I assume.
I've just always loved space. Even like when I was like 5 years old, I would have like a space little bean bag. And I would have like That's stars cute. Everywhere. Aww. And growing up looking back, and I was like, aw, I was always close
Tiffany.
To space.
Oh. Okay. Good one. Thank you for sharing that one. I remember my 4th grade field trip was to the Kennedy Space Center.
Dude.
Yeah. You're jealous,
cool.
Aren't you?
I'm definitely jealous.
Well, guys, Tiffany and I became friends probably this past summer because she was always around. I would see her occasionally, but then this past summer she like lived down the hall from me. So I like saw her almost every day. And I was like, this is a wonderful woman. And I feel like we all experienced this to a certain extent last summer, of like your circles of people you would see regularly was a bit smaller. So I'm so glad that small group like had Tiffany in it. Because, guys, she's a visionary and she's just such a purposeful leader. She's so self-aware, and also she like really values integrity, and she's just a well of wisdom. So that's why I'm really excited that she gets to be on this podcast.
So as you said, thank you for those nice comments. That was nice.
That was nice. You're welcome.
I am a visionary, and who doesn't know what to do? Sucks at strategic planning. Mm-hmm. But anyway, but yeah, I have always had a lot of passions, different interests, and I've just always wanted to do everything. But everybody knows that you can't do everything. Mm-hmm. And so like it was just more of like, what do I do with all these different passions? Like, I want to follow the Lord, I want to be obedient, I want to bless Him and other people, and I want to use what He's created me for and what to do. But I need His guidance, and He has a great job at not telling me anything like that except for just trust me. And so I have a little story of just like that little journey of doing that I would like to share.
Okay. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
So before I became a Christian, I have just always wanted to, like, I've always wanted to be like a famous singer. You know, the classic, all the girls want to be a famous singer. But like, I generally really wanted to pursue music. And then my love for film, I then wanted to pursue filmmaking and even like being a movie score composer. Ooh. And all these different dreams. And then when I found out that the Lord has bigger and better plans for me, I was like, well, shoot, I want that.
You should sign me up.
And so I began to really pursue the Lord and ask Him just these big questions of like, what do you want me to do with my life? And I actually felt led to go to a discipleship program and offered a school to like grow in worship leading, and then also offered a program to grow in filmmaking skills.
Ooh, all the above.
Yes. And so I auditioned for the music one, and I somehow didn't make it. Oof, so that was a little discouraging. But then I eventually pursued the filmmaking last minute, and so I was just doing that. And ironically, right before I did that, I just like gave up a lot of my dreams to the Lord. including filmmaking, because I wasn't sure that's what he was doing. And so when I felt like he wanted me to do this film program, I just was like, okay, that works. But then I felt like he wasn't, so to speak, calling me to do filmmaking. It was more of just like him wanting to use that season to grow me in different areas.
Oh, that's good.
And part of that involved a lot of growing, not only with my relationship with the Lord, and not only like dealing with just the pressures of like problem solving and learning how to fail and all that fun stuff.
Failure, our favorite thing.
Yes. And so I just like started to learn more about myself and some of the gifts that I have, in that I'm an encourager, and that I like to help support people. And so that was more of like my mindset, thinking that that's why the Lord called me there. And then I felt like afterwards I was very confused at what I was supposed to do, because I thought that he was going to give me all the answers when I went to that program that I felt like he was calling me to.
Little did you know.
But surprisingly, I felt like he was nudging me to pursue this mission school. And so I went there, and still just confused, not really sure what I'm doing. I'm just going and seeing what happens. And throughout that program, the Lord just continued to show me more of the vision that he's calling me directly in, and just showing how, because I have all these different interests and passions and everything, that doesn't necessarily mean that I have to do it all. It could just mean that I can be someone to help support someone who's passionate about that thing. Like, maybe I'm not supposed to work in Hollywood and filmmaking, but if somebody is passionate about it, I can come alongside of them and like coach them into some things, or like support them and like equip them and give them the tools that they need to succeed. And that's more like the vision that the Lord was showing me. So that was nice. That was
that was really good. Yeah. That was nice of the Lord to show me that. It sounds like it has been a step-by-step journey instead of him showing you the whole picture.
Yes.
Which is what a lot of us feel. We feel like, I mean, at least I'm speaking for me, but I felt like, you know, I had a vision of what God wanted me to do, and I was like, it's gonna look like this. I just kind of assumed the details around it, but that's most of the time not how it pans out.
It is not.
And you said something earlier about like other people knowing exactly what that God was calling them to do. What did you say about that? That was so funny to me.
That was nice. Well, I just like get jealous of people when they tell me like, oh yeah, the Lord just like had different people come to me and be like, oh, why don't you like check this out or something? And they're like, okay, yeah. Or like, I hear God's audible voice directly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's nice.
I'm so happy for you.
He doesn't work that way with me. I actually like went through a season of like depression, anxiety, and like the whole time he was just like telling me like, trust me. And so that was a fun season. But I did learn to trust him after that season.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. And the thing is, God obviously knows so much more than we do. And the thing is, he can see the big picture and has written our days in his book from beginning to end. But somehow we're the ones that are like, yeah, I kind of think my plan is better, so I'm going to go do this. But, you know, it just never really works out like that, as we have all experienced. But I relate to that in some ways because this past school year, I was like thinking that my life was going to end up one way and like this is the track I was going to go on and pursue this, but I had kind of like set aside all other dreams and I was like, this is the one thing that seems the most godly, so I'm going to go do that. But I just kind of assumed that the most radical thing automatically equaled the most godly thing. And so God just started revealing to me through other people and through his like gentle promptings in his voice, but like that's not always true. Sometimes the godly thing can look radical, but it's not always. And so he just kind of like brought up the other dreams that I had in my life and was like, I gave you these for a reason, like to use them, to pursue them. And like you said, that doesn't mean that we pursue all of them all at one time, because we just get burnt out and we wouldn't be able to function. But sometimes they are for different seasons. But it's just how he created us. And I really like how you're such a self-aware person, because you're like aware of what you like and what you don't like, what you're good at and what you can grow in. And so those are kind of like God's initial promptings of like, these are gifts I've given you, let's go, and nudges you towards those things. But yeah, I just kind of realized during that year that his main will for us is to be in relationship with him. And that's like primary thing. Because if you're in a relationship with him, he will communicate to you the things you need to do at the certain times. So, yeah.
I heard from somebody about how they were just talking about like different kinds of God's will. Mm-hmm. And they were like, imagine God's will as a box. Don't put God in a box. But imagine his will as a box. Mm-hmm. And you're in that box. And like his general will is obviously like you said, like to have us in relationship with him. And then like the things that are like already written about like loving your neighbor as yourself and all that. And so like if you're living your life for him and you're walking in faith and you're living your life pleasing him, like you are in his will. And I heard from somebody else about how like God's will for your life isn't like a tightrope.
Yeah.
And he actually encouraged me to take small steps of faith, like, and I actually heard from a couple people something very similar, which I took as confirming from the Lord, about how like when you have like all these different interests and passions and you're just like not really sure like which one to focus on, because that's my problem. Like I want to make the most out of everything. I want to make sure that I'm doing everything right and I'm pursuing what I'm supposed to at the time that I'm supposed to. I put a lot of pressure on myself. And I heard from these two different people at two different times about just like the encouragement of casting your net, in the sense of like, you know, like casting your net out and seeing whether or not like fish will come in. I don't really know exactly what they were coming at it with, but like I took it. Not exactly
saying like go fishing.
Yeah, but I took it personally as like God saying, you can just choose something. Yeah. Like it's okay. Like you can have fun, and if you want to look into how to build a spaceship, like
go for it.
Just do it with me. Like kind of thing like that. And so like I that actually was very freeing for me. And ever since I've been a lot more at peace and I've been happier actually, and I've been actually encouraging a lot of people about that, like just taking steps of faith. And I find it funny because as much as a person who likes all the answers and I like to be organized and scheduled and have things planned out, I've been like living my life as like just see what happens. Yeah. And that sounds just like
doesn't like sound like you.
It sounds like a laid back person. It's like, oh whatever, let's just see what happens. I don't care. But like that's
it's not in a way of apathy, it's a way of literally trusting your cares to the Lord.
Yeah. And like it takes off a lot of that pressure. And a lot of that's where like the faith in the Lord comes from, like taking this step of faith and seeing what happens. Maybe the Lord is going to bless it. Maybe he's going to direct me elsewhere. Yeah. Or maybe he's just wanting to spend time with you and do it with you. And
we're just saying like not now, not for this season, but for a later one. Yeah. Yeah, that reminds me of, I mean, that just makes perfect sense. If you cast your net, you're probably going to catch something. If you're not catching anything, that's probably a sign to you like, oh, let's try the other side of the boat. Or let's bring the boat to another place and let's throw it out there. And so God really can't bless or correct the decision that we don't make. And so that's what a mentor told me last year. Was I was at a crossroads but I was like, I'm so afraid I'm going to make the wrong decision. So I'm just going to stay in indecision. And that's basically a place of being stuck. And she told me, like, you just can't be stuck in indecision. You just have to make a decision. And because you're in relationship with the Lord, He will direct you and say, like, you know, this is a great place, be here. Or, like, let's change this and let's go a different direction. But it's just the same thing with life. I mean, you got to take risks in order to find out if that's a beneficial decision or if you should go in a different way. And sometimes we just stay in fear. Like, no, I think I'm a little bit more comfortable here. Thank you. I think I'll just stay here for a while.
Yeah, or you think you hear from God and then you find out that you were wrong or something and you feel like you screwed up your life and you lost God's plan A for you.
But I don't think that's possible to lose God's plan. And yeah, I feel like as the church in general, immediately when we come out of high school, sometimes it's like, okay, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? And I just think that's the wrong question to ask.
It really is.
Because life is usually long enough to where you can do multiple things at different times. And it's more of like, what's your next step? Which makes a lot of sense why God was just continually asking you, just trust me, instead of like, go here at this time, and then after this year, you'll go here. Because that probably would have really overwhelmed you if He had just told you all the plans at once.
And He was taking me in a direction of deepening my relationship with Him.
And deeper relationships take trust.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be in a relationship with someone you didn't really trust at all. So
it's true.
Makes sense. You said a quote earlier that you said you didn't know if you got it from the new Mulan movie or if it was from your own brain. But I want you to say that because I thought that was really deep.
Yeah. So I've had a lot of fear in my life. And this quote, I'm pretty sure it was from the new Mulan movie. It's really good. I don't care what people say. Haters gonna hate. But I liked it. Anyway.
Haters gonna hate. Yeah.
Anyway. It was about like, in order to have courage, there needs to be fear. And I just like saw that as these opportunities that are scary are opportunities to grow in courage and to use courage.
Yeah. If it was easy, we wouldn't need courage.
And growing in faith involves with just taking this step and just seeing what happens and seeing what the Lord does with it.
Yeah.
And that actually has been a life verse of mine. The Romans 8:28, God works all things for the good of those who love Him and are called according to His purposes. Just that, like, even when we think that either it's our fault or, like, life just happens, like, He's still going to use that. Whether that's to grow us in certain areas or even if that just means learning to trust Him in those times of adversity or whatever, or confusion or fear. Yeah, because that's what it's all about. Just doing life with Him.
Yeah.
And seeing where He takes us. Because life's a journey.
Good. It is a journey. It's not a destination, people.
It's a journey.
Okay, so Tiffany, what are some steps that our audience can just take from this podcast and apply to their own lives? What is one step one, if you will?
Well, I think the first step is definitely to remain and continue communication with the Lord. And that doesn't mean just like, like a lot of people think, I just have my daily quiet time for an hour or whatever. And there you go, my daily communication with the Lord.
Check it off the list.
But like, you know, it's that relationship, that friendship with God.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I talk to myself all the time. And so like, I'm just talking to the Lord like throughout the day. Like if I lose something, I'm like, okay, God, where's my pen? And it's just like those like things that I'm just keeping my focus on with the Lord and
reminding yourself that He's always with you in every moment. So that's good.
And just like listening, definitely having communication with the Lord.
Okay, that's great.
Step one.
Love that. So what if the audience listening can say, all right, check that off the list. I do that already. What is step 2 for them?
If they're not already doing this, I would say to be more become more self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
And you should be doing that with the Lord, having Him show you more of like who you are, what are your gifts, what are your strengths and weaknesses, what kind of, like, what's your personality, like, what your passions are, like, things like that, and then continuing that journey.
That can also come from just trusted godly mentors in your life who know you really well, trusted friends. Sometimes people can see things in us that we don't see in ourselves. So I think it's been very helpful for me to just like ask people who I trust, like, what am I good at? What do you think that I'm passionate about? What do I talk about a lot? What gets me really fired up? Stuff like that. All right, what if they can say, all right, check that off the list. Already doing that. What is step 3?
Just take that little step of faith and see what happens.
Take that step into the unknown. Yeah. I think it'll mean something different for every different situation and every individual.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you could indicate one little baby step that you can like take into the unknown and say, we'll just see what happens. We'll give this a try, and that will be better than just staying in indecision and fear, for sure.
Yeah. And like when you're doing that, like it's because you're doing it for the Lord.
And with Him.
Yeah, like I said earlier, it takes all the pressure off of you. Like
True.
it's not up to you to get it right.
And if you know that you're operating out of a place of, I can't really screw up His plan for my life, even if I tried, because you're in relationship with Him and right standing with Him, that just frees you up, and you can operate out of purpose and out of love in that relationship instead of operating out of fear.
There you go.
Yeah. That's great stuff. Thank you so much, Tiffany, for being on this podcast. I told you guys she's wonderful. You guys didn't believe me. I'm just kidding.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Fun.
Yeah, maybe round 2 sometime. Just call me up.
Who knows?
But who knows? Maybe. Stay tuned. This has been No Idea Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. It's signing off. It is Tiffany and Jenny. We'll see you around next time.